You recording?
Yes. It was weird because normally like there's background buzz, but there was like none.
Okay. Fucking thing clip on somewhere. God damn it. This is so good. Audio, quality audio I'm getting. No, that's ridiculous. Okay. Alright, Merts, welcome to the CineMerts podcast with Max Coulson and Levi Johnson. We're a couple of guys, we like films, we like rubber dinghy rapids. We like films, we like to get on the rapids, no cues, just jump right in, straight ahead of the line. Today we watched Four Lions.
And Four Lions is goddamn amazing. How have I not watched this movie? I'm so sorry.
It kind of amazed me. Because when you first brought it up, because it wasn't even talking about doing it for this originally. You mentioned it in passing. And it was kind of like, wait, you haven't seen that movie?
Yeah, I was recommended this movie several times by several different people. Like, one of them being a friend of mine, his name's Jav. He was like, you need to watch this movie, Levi. Rubber Diggy Rapid. Like, he showed me clips from the movie. I was like, yo, this looks freaking wicked. Like, I'm going to love it. And I just didn't ever get around to watching the movie. So, yeah. Oh, man. God damn, it's good.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like in the hands of the wrong director, this could have ended up being a terrible premise.
Yeah. Like, even now, I'm like, how would you sell this?
Oh, yeah.
Like, could you go to the pitch meeting, like, okay, so we want to do a movie about Islamic extremism, where we follow, like, the extremists in, like, their plans for a suicide bombing.
And it's
really,
yeah, like it's just a straight up comedy. Like there's no, like, yeah. I think if it was anyone else other than Chris Morris, it probably wouldn't have even been picked up. I think because he had a reputation for doing these real taboo busting sort of satires. This was off the back of like Brass Eye and Nathan Barley and all these other sort of really kind of pushing the bar sort of satire. That he was kind of given this chance. I guess plot rundown. It's not actually a particularly complicated story.
No.
Because it's more just sort of a series of events. It's not super structured. So basically it follows initially four would-be Al-Qaeda terrorists who are more like fanboys almost. Like
these guys are legitimately LARPing. Like, up till the very end, they're LARPing. They have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yep, we're going for it. What?
Yeah. So the group is made up initially of Omar is kind of the main character. And he's the closest thing to a voice of reason and sensible guy that this movie has. Which is saying something because, he is a moron and a suicide bomber, and somehow he's the smartest person in the movie. There's Omar.
Sorry, I just thought about Wahid and the end. Oh shit! Sorry.
Yeah, so there's Wahid or Waj, who is he is the stupid one. He's the one who has all the quotes.
Essentially, what's the guy's name from In-Betweeners?
Neil.
Yeah, he's Neil.
Whose dad is in the movie, weirdly.
Huh.
Yeah, Neil's dad, he's the council member.
Yeah, because, he like, Waj pretty much says Neil level stuff.
Yeah.
I stopped believing in God when I found out it was dog spelled backwards.
Yeah, it is that like, So there's where he's definitely like the sort of the most sort of quotable character. They're all funny, but he is definitely the most quotable. Then there's Barry is like basically he's just a psycho. Like, he's not even, like, really, like, he's clearly, like, I mean, he's a white guy, he's clearly, like, a convert. It's not made clear, but it's sort of leans towards the idea he probably converted in prison or something like that. And he's just a nutter who is just he just wants to do violence. Like, he has
Right.
that is not actually ideological for him. It's just like he just wants to be violent.
Yeah.
And then there's Faisal, who he's like the least sort of defined as a character. He's sort of another stupid one, really.
Yeah, but he's got like a certain level of like naivete about him.
Yeah.
Like he's like Wadge is almost like stupid because, you know, just he clearly hasn't received a great education and probably got some issues that have been missed by like society.
Mm-hmm.
Faisal is more like, oh no, you've been kept out of society by your family and parents so much that now you just don't know how the world works. Kind of stupid. Like, I know, dependent on what belief system, because he's like terrified of being on camera.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's a good sort of segue into the sort of the way the movie opens, which is they're trying to film their sort of little Bin Laden videos, and it starts with Wadge with the tiny AK-47 toy.
And he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's a replica." Like, but it's like a miniature, like a replica for action, man.
Like, I need to biggen it. I need to biggen it. And he's just moved his hands closer to the camera.
Yeah. It's nice,
And then then you have Faisal, who's like he's just got a box on his head.
He's like, "What are you doing?" Like, I can't be on camera, bro. My dad says it's haram.
No offense, mate, but your dad eats newspaper. Not anymore. Now he eats moths. Yeah, and then then it kind of it sort of cuts to Omar trying to edit the footage. And he's like, "It's the bloopers." Like the idea of bloopers.
Like threat, like videos. Like it totally. It's so weird because basically it gives you the same feel as if anyone has ever seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It is so. It is like the exact same atmosphere where it's like, "What are you doing?" Like, well, you can't make a threatening video like without weapons. Like, but I guess this would be before Always Sunny, right? Maybe near
not
the same
necessarily
time.
before it started, but like I don't know, it wouldn't have been too far apart either way. It would have been sort of similar time. But yeah, it is definitely that sort of style of like, especially because like with everyone sort of talking over each other and like arguing, just
actually just bickering about like, ridiculousness.
So then like they kind of get into like their plan. I might be jumbling the order a little bit, but it doesn't matter that much at this stage. They start talking about like their plan, and Barry's plan is to bomb a mosque.
Yeah, he's like, "We're gonna bomb a mosque. We'll radicalise the moderates, and that way we'll be able to have everyone win." Yeah, Barry is amazing, like actually amazing.
It's like then Omar gets the call to go to Pakistan and go to a training camp. So him and Wadge go off to Pakistan, leaving Barry in charge. And I love that he's like, as they leave, he's like, don't make a scene like you did last time when you made the Twin Towers shaped cake.
Oh, I was going to say that. He's like, yeah, like, you're being watched. Like, why'd you bake a Twin Towers cake?
He's like, hiding in plain sight.
Like, didn't he say like he took it to
to a synagogue? Yeah.
Like what?
So like it basically like goes straight from like don't make a scene to him speaking at like this town like council meeting.
Yeah,
it's like city council meeting, and he's just like he's kind of just doing this ultra confrontational thing. I can't remember what it was that's originally said, but then he's like, why do you think that all these young people are going to join training camps? So you're saying that there are people in training camps? Well, first of all, I
never called them training camps.
Yeah, he's like, I take issue with the term training camp. Well, you just said it. No, I didn't.
And either way, like, even if they did exist, if they didn't, you would just make them up anyway.
Yeah. But that's where we're introduced to the fifth member of the group, Hassan, who is, out of all of them, the name I'm going to forget because he has about 50 names in this movie, and it's just, but yeah, he stands up and starts ranting at first, and he's like, yeah, you know, like, you're right, you think we're all bombers. So and then he rips open his jacket and he's like got a bomb strapped to him, and then he starts rapping.
Yeah.
He does this little freestyle, and then like he pulls the cord and it's just like confetti that goes off.
Which, I ain't even gonna lie, I was like, oh, that's a kind of good. Like, that was actually pretty good. Like, for like maybe a statement like, yeah, that might be all right. You know, I wouldn't want to risk it because you could just get fucking killed. But like,
then Barry like gets him offers him a lift, gets him in the car, and he's like, "You're shit. You're like, was it like you're worse than that? Like, you know,
yeah, you're worse than like the enemy."
yeah, because you know better. And you're still doing nothing. He went, well, I was making a statement. He went, statements don't mean anything. He went, what you need is action. And then he really slowly just drives his car into a wall, like just shunts it slightly.
He's like,
goes, that was action, that was real.
Yeah, he's like, that's not a symbol, it's real. Like, but it literally is a symbol because it's so good.
And then, meanwhile, Omar and Waj are in Pakistan. There is a scene, if I have one criticism, this is the one scene where Waj is too stupid. When he's like, what's with them rabbits, bro?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, they're chickens. It's
yeah.
Like, no, they're rabbits. It's like, if they're rabbits, where are their ears? That's what I'm talking about, bro. Which is like, it's funny, but it's like, it's not very like, he's never that stupid in any other scene in the movie. That's like,
yeah, like
it feels a little too far.
Definitely, no, yeah.
But anyway, they go off to this training camp, and when they first get there, it's like it's prayers, and Waj gets into an argument with like the camp leader over like which way Mecca is because he doesn't understand that they've flown over Mecca. So now he has to face the other way. He has to face west now. He's like, no, it's east.
It's like, yeah, gotta pray to Mecca. Mecca's east. Like,
he's even like, we've flown over Mecca now, bro. It's like, it's in the east.
Like, this guy's an idiot. He's trying to get me to like pray.
It's interrupted by a drone. So like that's when like Omar's like, oh, we need to use this rocket launcher, and he's like, no, it's too high. It's like, yeah, it must be 2,000 feet. He's like, what? Which is a nice little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, setting up that Chekhov's gun, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is the ridiculous factor of when he comes out and he's like, did we mess it up, Barry? Or am I bloody... I'm not going to say it. Rambo! Oh, it's killer. Oh, yeah, man, I was dying. That's the scene that I was told about from the movie by my friend.
Yeah, where he starts like firing the gun up in the air. It's like...
And the guy's like coming out, what are you doing? Like...
So you got a mobile phone and you're firing bullets up into the air, like you already know there's drones. Which is great, because at that point they're already like, tomorrow morning you're going home.
Yeah. Like
so literally all they have to do is just sit tight and not do anything until the next day. But then they see a drone when it's just the two of them. And they have the rocket launcher still. And you can totally, I mean, it's telegraphed a mile off, but like, Omar takes aim and fires it backwards and hits the training camp. Which at the end it's revealed that, like, just in like a newsreel thing, it's revealed that Osama bin Laden was in the training camp.
They put it up as well as like, look at these two Islamic extremists struggling with a rocket launcher, and they fire it off. You think it's like on one of these like internet shows, and they're like, Osama bin Laden was also at the camp and now he's dead.
Yeah. Which I love is like they're like accidentally like the greatest counter-terrorists. So they end up going back to the UK kind of embarrassed, and initially they're kind of going to lie and say they've got to go to Somalia, and I guess Barry just calls them out and is like, you guys fucked up. And so Omar kind of bullshits and is like, we've been given a mission, we're on. It's like, okay, we're on, like, and so that's when like Omar finds out about Hassan and is like, he's like not happy. One, because he's like just some random new guy.
Yeah.
And also he's just filming him.
Yeah.
When he first gets there. So like, he's like, but I've done it. I passed the test to get in. It's like, what test? I put the bean up my knob. It's like, what?
You're like, yeah, Barry told me, you know, it's how you get in. Like, Barry's such a weird guy. Like, he keeps giving people like these fucked up tests to do.
Yeah. We get a little bit more from that point into Omar's home life, which is maybe the most interesting thing about the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that he just has like, he's just shown to have a normal family life.
Yeah.
He has a kid, he has a wife who isn't like, funnily enough, he isn't like oppressive towards in any way. Like, his brother,
yeah, like
his brother is like a fundamentalist, and he like,
yeah, he is so crazy because he's like, no, I won't come into the room, like, because your wife is in the room, like. And he's like, no, I'm not in the room, see? He's like, you remove the wall so it's still the same room.
Yeah.
But he's there going, you're on the wrong path. This is wrong. You should not do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, jihad is bad. Which he's like, no, you're being ridiculous. So it's like this super weird contrast where you're like, huh, this guy is super wrong because, like, you know, he treats women like shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's also right.
It's a weird thing as well, because like, I think that's also the thing that you can kind of also glean from Omar, is that if you kind of listen to when he talks as opposed to like when say like Faisal talks, it's not religious. He never talks about religion. He like, it's like political. It's like retaliatory political violence as far as he's concerned. Way more than it is anything to do with. He'll use the paradise stuff, but it's like a tool to him, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's way more about... But also it's LARPing and he wants to be a martyr.
Yeah.
Ultimately. So, but I think it's because of the fact that it's more political than anything for him, is why he kind of still looks at the super fundamentalist stuff. Also, he does seem to have this kind of resentment towards his brother, where it's like, yeah, well, you know... Like, I'm not as, you know, like, on paper, like, I'm not as good a Muslim as he is. Well, I'll show him when I'm, like, a martyr.
Yeah.
It is really, really interesting. And it does actually give the character, like, a lot of depth.
Yeah, which is surprising for, like, the type of movie. I wasn't sure how the movie was going to go down in the end. Just because of, like, how much of his... like, one, like, you see how much of his family life there is. They set him up very differently than a lot of the other characters. So I wasn't sure how they were going to handle him. Yeah.
He's not like... Well, he's not just a clown like the others. Like, you know... well, Barry's not really a clown either. He's just like a crazy person. He's just, a violent psychopath. But then... they start kind of sort of talking about their plans. Like, Barry's really pushing for the whole, like, bomb a mosque thing. which I love because that's the punch in the face scene. Where he's
Oh,
like,
that is so good.
it's like you get in a fight and you punch yourself in the face. It's like, yeah, well, what if they're not punching you hard enough to make you go mental so that you hit them harder?
Yeah, so you can win. And like, what, Barry? They're like, all right, yeah, go on. Let's see. Oh, look, I'm hitting you. See?
Yeah, and they just goad him into it until he eventually just punches himself in the face, like square in the nose.
Like,
It's like,
yeah.
It's like, the moderate's going to be rising up now. It's like, well, the moderate's going to be radicalized now. He went, well, no, because my face isn't a mosque. But if it was, there'd be loads of them coming out from behind my nose right now.
And like he's just bleeding, so he wipes his nose away. He's like, "Oh no, you just wiped out all the moderates."
Yeah. So then, like, Faisal and Wadge talk about bombing in boots.
Yeah, they're like, "You should bomb this boots because it makes me want to sin."
Yeah, we could blow up the. Yeah, we could blow up the link stand, bro. Whereas Faisal's plan is to put tiny bombs on crows.
Hilariously, I was like, Faisal's actually got the best plan.
Well, he had the best target because, like, his target was like actually like coherent targets. Where like even Omar doesn't really have like a coherent, sensible target.
Yeah.
At any point, he criticizes other people for not having coherent ones, but like.
Yeah, that's
he
true.
doesn't have any.
He doesn't actually say.
I mean, Faisal does say
something
about the boots, but he also says about like sex shops and like embassies and like stuff that does make sense. Obviously, more than like Barry's, who makes no sense.
I ain't even gonna lie. Like I still think like if they'd gone with Faisal's plan, they could have been successful. Imagine that, a flock of like homing explosive pigeons. It'd be like fucking worms, bro.
I wonder how much of that was taken from real life, because there was obviously not crows, but there was the whole model aircraft thing or toy aircraft thing, which, as far as I know, never happened, but it was something that America were really paranoid was going to happen.
Yeah,
it's funny because this is like now that actually is like feasible, right? Because drones. And, like there are legitimate concerns now that aren't a joke. Well, but for a while it was like they're going to use toy helicopters. It's like, do you know how shit toy helicopters are?
Hey, didn't someone fly a dildo though into like a place with a toy helicopter?
Yeah,
like could still be a thing. I think the main thing now is like, well, with drones, like because drones are so prevalent, there is just the thing of we should get a lot of counter drone like measures in place. So it's like, hey, no flying of drones near these areas. If there is a drone, they've started doing things like bringing back attack eagles.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like when was outside Stansted Airport when there was that drone and it basically shut down the entire airport for like a whole day.
Like so, but like if you saw a crow flying about, what are you gonna do, mate? You ain't gonna try and stop a crow, and you ain't looking that hard at a crow to be like, is that a bomb strapped to that crow? No.
I don't know how easy to train crows are. I mean, I know they're smart, but like.
Hey man, crows hold a grudge, like, so, and they can remember faces. So, like I just imagine like this guy like just got a picture of like I don't know whoever he wants to get on there. I don't know who's a random douchebag. Piers Morgan. Like he's got Piers Morgan and he's just electroshocking these crows and he's like, now I'm gonna like send out these crows to go fly and then attack like Piers Morgan.
You mentioning faces just made me remember something from a little earlier in the movie to where we've got that I completely had forgotten about, which was Faisal talking about when Faisal went to buy the
oh god,
like the ingredients to make the bombs, like the bleach and everything, and you've got like he was buying like 12 bottles at a time, of bleach, but he was going in and out just and he's like, what? It's like, wait, you bought them all from the same shop? Yeah, but I use different voices.
Like different voices.
It's like, what were some of the voices? He was like, IRA.
IRA, they're a terrorist organisation. You're gonna get us nicked.
But then it's the same voice.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, let's hear your IRA voice. 12 bottles of bleach, please.
Yeah, it's like, and then there's this one. 12 bottles of bleach, please.
No, what one's that one?
It's a woman's voice. It's like, you've got a beard, mate. Well, no, I covered my face. How? He just puts his hands over his face.
Yeah, the movie is on another level. Like, the comedy is just killer. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great. Which actually, funnily enough, until the end credits of this movie, I did not realise it was co-written by Jesse Armstrong and Sam Bain, who are the writers of Peep Show. Which I had no idea, and it makes perfect sense, especially when, because they did that, I can't remember what it was called, they did like a show that was like a satire of like the police. It was like set in like a police press office.
Okay, yeah.
And that had a very similar sort of style of humour to it. So it's like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense now I think about it. You comparing it to Always Sunny, I know it was just that one scene, but in general, it's got that real, like I say, it's like everyone kind of shouting over each other.
Yeah.
These nonsense arguments that go around in circles that don't go anywhere, which is so my sense of humour. It's unreal.
It is like, hey, what if in one episode of Always Sunny they just decided that they were going to be terrorists?
Yeah,
like,
they kind of had that episode.
Yeah, they did.
When the Israeli guy brought the...
Yeah, they brought the bar. I also enjoy the nonsense arguments. Like, they are like straight out of Always Sunny. Like, where they're like, no man, like it's totally fine. You know, if you go to hospital, you just leave. You just walk out. Like, no, you got to pay for like.
Was it when in the beginning during the videos bit, like when they recorded the video when Omar's like, he kind of goes on his rant about like a Western culture and he mentions McDonald's and he's like, flipping idiots. He just starts ranting about like how McDonald's is like not good value.
He's like, it's not good value. You could go down to like the local like chicken shop, bro, and get like a much better doner kebab.
You like get doner kebab, get like halal, you get fried chicken bucket, $1.99.
He's like, what are you talking about, bro?
Flipping idiots, bro.
There is like a level of just like, for me, the movie has just this certain level of, this is British comedy. Like, it's really, really enjoyable to see.
Something that is rarely achieved well in films. Like, it's one of those things, for some reason, and I don't know why, British comedy films tend to fucking suck.
Yeah.
TV series, we have loads of great ones. Movies, it's like, I don't know why, but it's just so much of the time it just doesn't work.
I feel that maybe it's a case that, I know we're watching this on TV though, but like when it's blown up for the big screen, the energy just is different. Like,
yeah,
it's so weird because the British comedy energy, it's like lower, like it's a bit more low key. Like, I'm just thinking back to Ricky Gervais's like movies, and they're just terrible.
Like, what was that movie? Invention of Lying?
Invention of Lying.
It's so bad.
Oh man, yeah, it's just rubbish. Like, aside from the fact that I enjoyed at the end of the thing where he's like, the man in the sky like cures this lady's like disease. Man in the sky lets thousands of children die. Like, they're just confused. I like that, but like,
yeah.
The actual
there's
movie
good moments in it, but like,
rubbish.
there's definitely moments that made me laugh in the movie. You know, there was that whole like, was it like I was masturbating? That makes me think of your vagina. There's definitely good moments, but I don't know why British comedy's just like, I mean, that was more of an American comedy really, but I for some reason it just doesn't seem to work, but this absolutely worked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It also kind of felt like a movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a big budget thing or anything, it wasn't like spectacularly shot. It just, it was fine, it was functional. but like it still kind of felt like it had to be a movie.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like an hour-long TV special or hour-and-a-half TV special or something.
Because that's one of the things with some British films when they do go for, actually like being a movie. You do watch them and go, oh yeah, that was like a nice 2-part episode. Like put together, like it's like a TV special, like one of the Dragon Ball movies or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's although I'd much rather watch one of the Dragon Ball movies, to be honest. But yeah, no, this absolutely works. Anyway, you know what? We were barely doing a plot rundown anyway, but basically things start to kind of get moving.
Yeah.
They blow up a microwave, but then when they're all out, Hassan fucks up and invites. There's a woman who's just sort of a bit slow, who like lives in the same building as I think it's Barry's flat, right? And and like there's this woman. She's just like she's a bit slow. She thinks they're all in a band, and he invites her in to play karaoke, and like he hasn't cleared anything up, like so there's all like the bomb making stuff just laying about in the flat.
Well, like everything's out and they're singing like Dancing in the Moonlight.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, we need to move all this stuff now. There's kind of a fake out where Omar's like, you need to kill her.
No, yeah.
To Hassan, and
which I totally fell for. I was like, oh, the movie's about to go dark. Like he's gonna have to kill her. I was like, this is such a bad plan because they don't have the police following them yet, but they're gonna.
But then he's like, of course not. Of course, I don't want you to kill her. It'd be ridiculous. I might as well call the police myself. It's like, yeah, good. So then they're like, they decide to move all the equipment.
Wait. When he goes to kill her, he's like, you're going to have to kill her. And then flies and steps forward, and he gives him a fork.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that is really funny. And then like when they go to move the equipment, they all pile into Barry's car, which just breaks down first he's like bombing it. He's really ragging it, and they're like, what are you doing? The car's full of
he's
explosives.
All over. Slow down please, Barry, slow down.
Yeah, like the car's literally full of explosives, and this like car's bouncing all over the place. He's like, we're being tailed. It's like, it's a milk float. It's like, they're undercover.
Like, I love Barry. He's ridiculous. Like you're walking over to his house. He's like, morning, officer. You've been rumbled. And it's just some lady with a pram.
So, the car just breaks down. And this is actually, funnily enough, this was the first thing I ever saw of the movie. Was this preview. It was on, they showed it on, Jonathan Ross or something like that.
Okay.
As, the preview for the movie. And it was, the car breaks down and Omar starts kicking off at Barry because earlier on he's like, did you get the car fixed? And he's like, yes. Did you do it yourself? Yeah. And so he's like, why couldn't you go to a mechanic like that? And he went, it's not me, it's these Jewish parts. And he's like,
what parts of a car are Jewish?
Yeah, and the face was like, spark plugs?
And he's like, yes, spark plugs.
Spark plugs were invented by the Jews to control traffic.
Which is a line did you quote that one to me one time?
I might have done.
It's just like, yeah, don't you think it's weird some people, they start getting so crazy, they're just like, I need to find some reason to blame racism, blame this with a racist reason, Jewish spark plugs.
Yeah, that scene, that was basically what sold me on the movie. So then they have to move on foot, which is where
you've got to run fast. You've got to run fast, but you got to run smooth.
Yeah,
smooth.
So they start practicing.
Yeah,
they do this ridiculous thing where they're kind of half they're kind of half squatting and they're
it's what was it, squat jogs?
Squat jogs, yeah. They start sort of half squatting and jogging, and then they bump into Omar's boss, who's like it's like a security firm. And he's like, and he's a fun runner. So he's like, oh, are you, where are you going? And they're really bad at covering their tracks, so they all say something different. But he's just like, we're going to go play football. So, all right. He actually throws one of the bags to him, and they all freak out.
He's like, what's their problem? It's like, oh, it's just some really delicate football boots.
Yeah. And he's like, why are they running like that? Because they're all like doing this sort of squat jog. And he goes, I said a new workout technique for the marathon. Like, all right. It's called squat jogs. You need to get into a half squat and then jog. Works out the muscles better. Right. Squat jogs. Yeah.
Give that a go then.
Yeah. So they do a run out. Omar's sort of tailing behind him at this point. So then it cuts to like Barry and Wadge and
Hassan.
And Hassan. Yeah, and Faisal's like he's like
running through a field for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, how is he so far behind?
Yeah. He's running through a field, and they're like, they're sort of taking the piss out of him. He goes to hop this fence to where there's like a little wall, and there's like these sheep there, and he blows up. Like he just blows up. It's so like I don't know. I guess it would be, but it's like just so immediate. Like, there's no build up. There's no like musical sting leading to it. It's just like it just happens.
Yeah, like normally you'd expect like camera to be with him maybe as he runs.
No, it's like just this wide shot, and he just blows up, which is kind of how all the deaths in the movie are presented. They're just they just sort of happen.
Yeah, they're very matter of fact. It's like, they're dead now. Like
it. So like, because then when Omar gets there, he's like, "Where is he?" And like, they just go into the shed and pull out a bin bag.
Like the thing I liked most of all is the fact that when Omar comes in, you look at the characters, and if you pay attention, they've got red on their hands.
Yeah.
Like you're like, wait. He's like, where is he then?
Yeah, so they pull out this bin bag, and because it's even like what was it? It's like, he's a martyr though. Like, how is he a martyr? He blew up a sheep. How's that a martyr?
Went after the food supply.
Yeah.
Barry's the best.
And now he's in a bin bag. It's like, well, I couldn't totally figure out what was him and what was the sheep. So then they decide on their target, which doesn't actually make any more sense than a Boots. It's just the London Marathon, which is like, why is that like anything?
Yeah,
right. It's not like
doesn't one guy go, yeah, we can blow up all those slut runners?
Yeah. I think that's Faisal that says that, isn't it? Beforehand. Oh no, he's gone. No, it was
it Hassan?
Hassan, yeah, because he's like, we'll blow up all those slut runners. Like, what? And then so they get some like fun running sort of suits.
Yeah,
and they make their way to the London Marathon. There's sort of some more scenes with Omar and his family, but like. Basically they go there, and there's like this policeman that goes over like while they're getting ready, and he's just like, he's not suspicious of them or anything. It's like literally just like, okay, well, if, marathon's around there, that's start point. There's some people that will guide you there, it's fine. But at that point, like, Hassan's getting like regret, like he's just sort of started to freak out.
The best bit was though, they keep it under wraps though. Because it's Wahid who first goes like...
Wahid's the one who shows doubt. Like, verbally, because he's like... Because he's even like... Omar's like, well, you've got to listen to your heart. What's your heart saying? Don't do it, it's wrong. What's your head saying?
I've come all this way, and, it'd be pretty embarrassing to bottle it now.
Sometimes Satan swaps out your heart and your head to confuse you.
Oh, okay, bro. Yeah, I get that. Rubber Diggy Rapids.
So they like But then, ends up being Hassan who freaks out. And, like, he runs over, which I also love. He's like, I'm a suicide bomber by mistake. I'm accidentally a suicide bomber. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, I'm not, I'm a bomber. It's like, what? Well, not anymore. So, have you got a bomb? Yeah, but it's not going to go off.
So, to stop him from, like, blowing the plan...
Yeah, Barry, just uses his phone to set off the bomb. So he blows him up. So then they're, like, in it. So they run to... They run into the marathon. But on the way, he kind of ends up... Omar kind of gets into a bit of a fight with Barry, who then is like, oh, what, so are you saying that...
Oh, yeah.
Are you saying that Waj is going to be a martyr then, when you've just gotten into his head?
Yeah, he's like, you've taken away his choice. You just tricked him into wanting to do this.
So then he is kind of determined to get Waj out of doing it. And that sort of becomes his mission. So he kind of goes after Waj, who at this point they get separated in the marathon. Waj sort of runs down an alleyway and ends up kind of getting cornered. So he runs into a kebab shop.
Yeah, there. A kebab-ish.
Yeah, kebab-ish.
Yeah. It's a local brand as well.
Mm-hmm. And, he sort of gets them to barricade him inside. Like, he's like, close the metal things. I love that he just orders some food as well.
Yeah. He's like, get some food. And then, like, while he's doing that, like, eating his bloody damn food, Omar is going, yeah, I actually really regret this. Like, I need to call, like...
Yeah.
So he grabs his phone and starts calling him. And
and then he's trying to talk him round, but Waj is, like, not really having it at this point.
Yeah, man, he did such a good job of convincing him.
Yeah. Because he's even like, you're confused. He's like... No, I don't think I'm confused. I don't think I'm doing my confused face. So he pulls out he gets his phone and takes a selfie.
Look, and then turns it around to look at it and he's like, no man, I'm not doing my confused face. I know what I'm doing, it's alright.
Yeah. But then Barry catches up with Omar and just takes the phone, snatches the phone off of him. And then there's kind of a running thing of Omar just sort of eating things.
Well,
not Omar, Barry eating things.
He keeps saying that the only way, because you can be tracked on your cell phone.
Yeah, well, that's the first time. He eats a SIM card and he tells everyone that they need to eat their SIM cards. Then after that, he eats the car keys.
Shit, he does eat that car key.
Because it's so it seems to be a defense, in an argument, is just to eat something.
He's like, ha, you can't get me. So for some reason he eats his SIM card?
Yeah. But in doing so he ends up choking on it. So then this dude comes out and he's like...
I love that guy as well. The way he just...
Yeah. He's just so whatever. I've got to go and stop this guy. This guy's choking.
Don't worry.
So he kind of just casually strolls over to him.
And then while it's happening, bloody Omar's like, oh shit!
Yeah,
so he runs away.
Yeah, runs away, and the guy does the Heimlich maneuver and just blows both of them.
Peanut.
Yeah, and he just blows both of them up. So,
making him the closest person to being a martyr.
Yeah,
because he took someone.
So then, Omar, this is probably the stupidest thing really, is that Omar goes to a phone shop to get hold of a phone to call Waj on. He doesn't find a payphone, which there were plenty of payphones in London at this point in time.
Yeah.
Or borrow a phone from somebody. Instead, he runs to a phone shop to try and get a SIM card. Yeah. And then he's like, we don't have them for that model, which isn't how that works. But it's just a SIM card.
I know. I was like, hey man, micro SIMs wouldn't even be a thing at this time.
No, they were just SIM cards. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they'd be locked to a network, but
yeah,
you wouldn't know that just from looking at the phone. But whatever, it's not that important. So he's like, we can sell you a new phone. So and he starts going through the paperwork and everything to buy a new phone.
And he's like, what kind of data plan would you like? Whatever, man. Like, just give me a...
So yeah, like, while that's happening, there's a hostage negotiator played by Doctor Strange himself,
Yep.
Benedict Cumberbatch, who has worked with Chris Morris before because he was in Nathan Barley when he was about 12.
Jeez.
He wasn't. He was just really baby faced in that. But yeah, he's the hostage negotiator who everyone in this movie is a moron.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone. Oh, actually, we missed out the police. They're the police snipers.
Oh man!
I can't believe we missed that. So Omar is dressed because they're dressed in like fun runner outfits. Omar's dressed as the honey monster. So like he's like, and they know. So like they're like, suspect is dressed as a bear. And like there's someone dressed as like Chewbacca next to him. So like he shoots the Chewbacca guy and it's like,
bear is down.
The bear is down. I think that was a Wookiee.
What's a Wookiee?
And he's like, and then it's like Control like gets back to him. He's like, suspect is the honey monster. Yeah. Is Honey Monster? Is like, is Honey Monster a bear? Yes, and the Honey Monster is down. No, you shot a Wookiee. What's a Wookiee? A Wookiee's a bear. He's like, the Wookiee is not the target. Well, it must be the target because I shot him.
Come on, man. Transigent property.
So, so anyway, the hostage negotiator is also a moron. He just has, like, he's just so out of his depth and just doesn't know what he's doing.
He's like, calls him up. And he's like, what? Waz is just like, I don't answer unknown numbers.
Oh, yeah, because, first it's like, unknown number, don't answer unknown numbers. It's like, what if you've, like, well, what if it's important? Yeah, maybe I won something. He just picks up and goes, have I won?
Yeah. He's like, did I win the iPhone or something like that?
Yeah. And he's like, what are your demands? I don't have any. It's like, what's this about? Rubber Diggy Rapids.
Rubber Diggy Rapids, what a guy!
Like, what? Rubber Diggy Rapids, no queues. Just straight to the ride. It's like, oh, you like fun fairs? Like, theme parks. Alton Towers has a spa. How old are you?
It's actual gold. I can't believe it. Like,
yeah. So then he's like, oh, but you like women, though. You like women? It's like, yeah. Mostly ones with big jubblies. He's like, what is it? Yeah, but I bet you're an ass man. What? Like,
yeah.
I bet you're an ass man. He's like, what is it? Like, what? You're calling me a bender? So he like hangs up and he's like, fucking boy George.
Yeah.
So then, like, Omar finally does get through to him.
Yeah, because he gets his boss's phone because his boss is running the marathon as well.
Yeah. He tells his boss that he's MI5.
Yeah.
Which seems like the most unnecessary lie.
You know what I mean?
So, like, yeah, he phones Waj on his boss's phone and he's like, you know, once again tries to be like, look, you're just confused. You're not right. And it's like he's just starting to talk him round. But by that point, the police have busted in.
When they begin, like, opening fire.
Yeah, they open fire and then they just shoot the other guy who is his hostage.
Yeah, they just shoot his hostage who's, like, just a random Muslim guy.
Yeah.
He's, like, working in, like, kebabish.
Yeah.
And
then, like...
This is just the best bit. They just say to him, like... He's just, like, turns around. Yo... I don't know what I'm doing, bro.
Yeah.
And then he just cut him down.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So then, like, the final sort of indignity, Omar's final indignity, is he just is like, decides he's still going to be a martyr and goes into a Boots.
Yeah, he turns to his boss. You wait here and you tell everyone that I was smiling.
Yeah. Yeah, then he wanders into the Boots and...
just explodes.
Yeah. And that's basically how the movie ends. Yeah, it's...
Like, the film Oh my god, I was kind of nervous because I was like, what are we gonna say? Like, I don't know. Could this movie be like a touchy subject? Oh, could this be hard? What if it's really good though? I don't know. Like, oh man,
It's just
hilarious.
yeah, it's just a really funny movie, and
really funny.
I know Chris Morris did actually a surprising amount of research
Wow.
into fundamentalist extremist groups. Part of like the inspiration for it, I think I watched an interview with him where he was basically saying like part of the inspiration was speaking to like this journalist who had met multiple times with Osama bin Laden.
Wow.
And said, I can't remember what it was, but like it was something ridiculous, like Osama invited him to like a birthday party or something, and he couldn't do it. So he went and laid down on the bed, like, and just refused to talk to him and like wouldn't look at him. There, like
What?
he just threw a hissy fit.
Wow.
And like Chris Morris was just like, that was just so funny that like you think of these people as like these inhuman monsters, you almost think of them as like being beyond kind of petty emotions. But once you put that back in, the whole situation just becomes a farce.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think it leans back to like Hitler was just an actual moron and just happened to have a cult personality that got him to where he needed to be. But
yeah.
Otherwise, he was like an idiot.
Yeah. Well, is any group like it? Literally any group like this, where it's this kind of, because, like we were saying they were LARPing. Everyone like this is LARPing. They're all LARPing. They want to be these sort of heroic mythic figures. But the thing is, anyone who wants that so desperately they'll die for it is probably pretty pathetic.
Yeah, right. Like, why would you want to be like, yep, I'm looking to find the fastest way out? Like, I did put a note down where I was like, interesting though, like, because when like Omar is talking to Waz and he's like, yeah, man, like if you like become a martyr, like it's like getting into Alton Towers, bro. Like, you're not here in real life anymore. Because what is it? He's asked, would you kill your friend?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, of course. Like I'll kill you. He's like, really? You'd kill me? He's like, yeah. And he's like, well, but then he has to try and spin it to say, look, I'm not being mean to you. He's like, but think about it. Like, you get to go to heaven, so you know, it's like going to an amusement park. Like, you skip the queues, mate. Like life is the queue. So you just get to die and skip it and go on all stuff. And that's where Rubber Dinghy Rapids comes from.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, man, Rubber Dinghy Rapids. Which is just perfect.
Can I just commend them for finding the funniest ride possible to do that with?
Right?
Wouldn't have been funny with like Nemesis
or
like
Oblivion. Like, yeah, man, I'm going on Oblivion.
Yeah, that's not. But Rubber Dinghy Rapids, it's just.
It is just perfectly quotable.
I'm not even 100% sure if that's a real ride. I don't know.
I think it is.
I was going to say it could be. I've never been to Alton Towers, so I don't know. But
I've been once, but I wasn't thinking of Alton Towers. Oh wait, yes I was, because you've been to Alton Towers.
No, I haven't.
I'm sure you came with us to Alton Towers. We rode Oblivion like 1 trillion times because
I don't think I was at that.
Oh man!
As I've definitely never been to Alton Towers. Been to Drayton Manor 1 million times, but I have never been to Alton Towers.
Okay, yeah, because like, what was it, in college? We all went to like Alton Towers.
Yeah, I think for whatever reason I missed that one.
Gutted. But yeah, there is a thing, Rubber Dinghy Rapids. I'm sure of it. I know there is a rapids, right? Maybe it's not Rubber Dinghy Rapids, but
yeah, it is. But either way, they found the funniest possible ride that they could, because it's just so silly sounding. Just the fact that it is a running line as well. I mean, it's said so often.
Yeah, like at first you think, oh, okay, that's funny. Like, man's just gonna say it once. But then he keeps saying it to the point where it's like...
It replaces the word, like, heaven.
Yeah.
For him, it's just Rubber Dinghy Rapids.
Dude's whole motivation is I'm gonna like become a martyr so that I can go on rubber-dinghy
Yeah,
rapids.
yeah. Well, I love that because it's like it's not a metaphor for him. It literally just is Rubber Diggy Rapids. Like that's what he thinks the afterlife is.
Like, does he say to the dude in like in the kebabish? He's like, "Yeah, man, Rubber Diggy Rapids." He's like, "I think you're confused."
Yeah.
Like, because he tries to talk to her, he's like, "Yeah, we're doing like the jihad," and the guy's like, "Well, yeah, I'm cool with that, but what are you doing? Because we're all like Muslim here,
Yeah.
so like this isn't gonna work."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, man, you'll be there before me."
Well, he's even like what was it? Like, well, my mate Faisal, he's a martyr. He's got it into heaven, and he only killed a sheep.
Oh.
It's like all of those kind of concessions that they were making about, like, you know, in order to kind of make it still happen, stayed with him. So it's just like he just has this bizarre view, which is it's funny because we have the context for it, but whenever he talks to somebody else and it's like Rubber Diggy Rapids, they have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Like,
imagine that, like a dude rocks up into like your workplace, tells you that you're now their hostage, and then when they're like asked what are your demands, they're like Rubber Diggy Rapids. You're like, what?
Well, that has to be it. Like, if you actually think about it, that has to be more terrifying than even if it was just like Allah Akbar, because it's like I don't know even. How would you even talk someone like that round? That what they want, I can't even process. Like, like I just like. So yeah, it is really funny. Yeah, it's a great movie. We kind of spoiled the fuck out of this. I'll just put a spoiler tag at the beginning. But like, if you haven't seen it, just it's really good.
The thing is, although I hadn't watched the movie, I knew everything about it beforehand. Mm-hmm. Like, I knew about Rubber Diggy Rapids. I knew about like, what's it called, lines. The car parts are Jewish. The Rambo line. Mm-hmm. I knew them all, and they were hilarious.
Yeah,
absolutely hilarious.
Well, I mean, I've seen this movie a bunch of times now, and it's just as funny as when I kind of somehow forgot how funny it was.
Yeah, like honestly, I'm feeling like this is one of these movies that, holy crap, what's going on? How is this not more talked about? Like, just before we watched it, I quickly went onto YouTube and just searched for Lions. I thought maybe there'll be a bunch of like other videos or people talking about it. There was like a load of trailer shots and like one guy who done like a 7-minute video that said reviewed or something, and I don't even think it was reviewed by like a YouTuber kind of review.
Yeah,
it was like an industry dude.
Doing
like an interview, news interview or something. Like, this movie's got like no footprint. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. I think I think someone like oh dude, what's his name? Bald guy from That Guy with the Glasses, not Doug Walker. The one who does like serious reviews. Renegade Cut.
Okay. Sick! Renegade Cut.
I don't know if it'd still be up there because I'm pretty sure that was in his channel Awesome Days, so it was probably on Blip. So it might not even still exist. But I do vaguely remember him talking about it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a really underappreciated movie.
Yeah. Like, definitely.
Especially considering like how respected Chris Morris is. Like, he gets spoken about quite a bit. You know what I mean? Like, particularly Brass Eye, I think, is probably that's really heavily spoken about as this, like, you know, real groundbreaking satirical show, which it was. But it's like, for some reason, this kind of just, I know, everyone I know who's seen it loves it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really across the board. Because I think even if this isn't one of those movies that, like, you have to have a political leaning in order to like it or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's just a funny movie through and through.
Yeah.
And you can watch it on that level, but it's also well researched enough and fleshed out enough that it doesn't just feel like kind of lame sort of like easy target sort of jokes either.
Mm.
It's more thought out than that. So it works as a satire
No,
as well.
completely.
So it's like it's multi-layered, like RoboCop, and that's the only way this is like RoboCop. But it is, but it does have that kind of that same thing to me, where it's like you can view it at this face value, kind of just, you know, you sit, watch it, enjoy it, laugh at the jokes, and that's that. But you can peel back the layers, and there's something much cleverer behind it as well.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate that.
Definitely.
Because I don't want a movie to feel like I'm sitting in exam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
you hear that, Kubrick? No, because you're dead.
Hey man, if he's so smart, how come he's dead?
He was a horrible person, so I don't feel bad.
Yes, indeed. Shouldn't treat actors like shit. I would love to see this movie come back, not necessarily with this topic, but done with different groups, like extremist groups. You know, we're having like a lovely rise in like weirdo, like extremist, like nationalist groups. Like maybe we could get one of these, like for one of those.
Yeah, don't go more in detail than that though, because you know we're filmmakers.
We could call the movie Rubber Dinky Rabbit.
Just literally steal the movie.
The only thing is though, I would love to call the movie that, but like have nothing else in the movie that references that at all. Like there's no religious like ideology to like have a person say that's going to be their reward. Like it's just named Rubber Dinky Rabbit.
Just like the most famous line from a movie, and it just had to be unrelated.
No, the only ties would be like it's about extremists. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, recommend the movie.
Yep. And get ready for Rubber Dingy Rapids coming to a cinema near you.
Ian Beale.
So what happens if like a prostitute sleeps with a gigolo though? Like, hey, so like who's paying here? Like you pay me or am I paying you? Do they both exchange this? Like,
if you do it twice, then that's fine, because then you just keep your money and it's like you paid each other.
Or is it whoever comes first loses? Like it has to pay. That could be the one.
That's a sport right there.
Yeah. Hey, look, I have a ton of sports that I like, but for some reason they're like unethical or something.